Okay, and we are live, and a few people are joining, which is fantastic to see because I made a big error in the title for this one. I give it a title, and I was trying to edit it, and then I set it up and sent it out, and so I didn't give a chance to change it. And but essentially, I'm going to give you some very practical tips about making money, particularly around Substack, and something that I see a lot of Substackers making a mistake on. And so I thought I would jump on and thanks, Vicky. And I would jump on and share this with you. And I'm going to try. I don't know if you are someone who does live, but there is a share your screen option. And so I haven't pressed that yet, but I'm going to try and maybe use that and just show you my own Substack because I want to talk something through with you. And the idea of this came, I wonder how many of you have got paid subscribers yet? Stick it in the chat if you have got paid subscribers. Feel free to tell us how many. It's fine if you haven't, just say zero, not yet. Yeah, don't say none, just say not yet, because that means you're kind of hopeful and you're looking to the future. Have we got anybody here who've got paid subscribers, got people who are paying them for, right? Yes, we've got one there. Well done. The Style. Dylan, well done, Dylan. Dylan's got two. Melanie's on, and I'm sure she has. Letitia does as well. Not yet, Laura. Yeah, not yet. Not yet. Someone else with a not yet. Okay, so I think this links in with the idea of paid subscribers, and not sure if you will. And I've got a particular viewpoint on this based on my own experience and speaking to a lot of other, creators who are maybe in the 5, 10, 15,000 subscriber space that you might not always know some of the conversations going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to reveal that to you in this live stream. Yes, Melanie does have some. And this idea of sharing today's live came because I've started sending messages to people who are new subscribers to me, sending them kind of DMs and stuff. And I recommend that you do that, particularly if you're small. Everyone who signs up, why don't you send them a DM and just a very short message? So I'll usually say, welcome to the Irresistible Writer, how's Substack going for you? And sometimes people ignore it, but I've had one or two conversations, and this prompted this live that I think is something that people really need to hear. And sometimes what would come out is someone will say, oh, yeah, I'm just new to Substack, or I've just got one paid sub or 3 paid subscribers. And people would get dead excited about it, which is absolutely fantastic. And I am on about 156. Well done, Dylan's already doing it. I'm on about 156 paid subscribers on Substack. And I've just this week passed $10,000, according to the Substack, how much I have earned, which sounds like all right, yeah. But actually, it's a tiny fraction of how much money that I make. And so this week, I just sent a message to someone and they said they'd been doing well on the Substack and they were dead excited because they had 3 paid subscribers. And then a couple of minutes later, I got this notification that I'd made a sale and I'd made like $400 from one of my readers. And I sat those two things side by side, someone excited because they'd made maybe $5 or $10 from a paid subscriber, and the idea that I'd made maybe $400. And I was thinking, I wonder if she realizes what really goes on behind the scenes. That the money from Substack that I get is just a tiny proportion. And I would never be able to quit my job if I relied on paid subscriptions from Substack. And actually, all the big people that you follow behind the scenes, they may have 100, 200, 500 paid subscribers, but it's not really where they make their money. They're not making their money from $5, $10 per person. They're doing something else. And in all the promotion about Substack, and particularly all the new features, don't we just love the new features, how fantastic it is? And I'm just concerned new writers, people who are building on Substack, are trying to follow some of the bigger people who are making full-time money, maybe making 100K or whatever it might be, but they don't realize that what they're doing isn't building their business around paid subscribers. So let me show you something. I wanted to show you how I got that $400 from one person and just kind of reveal to you what's going on. And I'm going to give you kind of 3 tactics really that I'm using, and just tell you honestly, like, what really is happening behind the scenes. So if I'm going to share my screen, see if this works. Never done this before, so if it all goes pear-shaped, then be kind to me. All right. Okay. So what is happening? Okay. So that's cool. Hopefully you see me in the bottom right-hand corner by the looks of it. And so this is my Irresistible Writer. It's my Substack homepage, and you'll see I've got all my posts there. I've got my pinned posts. I've got my Start Here post. And I write about three things, and I'll upgrade your writing, gain more readers, make more money. And so you see all my articles are divided into those three things. So if you want any of them, you know exactly where to go. But the interesting thing I want you to look at for a minute is my navigation bar up at the top, if you can see that. Actually, I just deleted one thing off it. So it's looking a little bit bare, but you can see it. And the thing I want you to notice is these two things on the right-hand side. We've got compelling posts, free course, notes, playbook, free course. Now, I did have another one, which I will put up quite soon, about learn to create your own free digital product, free course. Now, what happens is if someone clicks on one of them, so this is the writing one, compelling posts, they click on this page, Long Form Mastery, the 5-step writing system, and this is a free email course. And they're invited to put their email address in. So for people who want a free course about writing more effectively, they could click on that. Now, if you were to click on the Notes Playbook, then something else would happen. All right, Notes Playbook. If you clicked on that, you would end up on this page, the Substack Note Playbook, turn your notes into a viral sensation, 14 simple templates. This is free, yeah? And people get invited to put their email address in there. Now, the third one I've got like this. Let me just click on this. This one is 3 secrets for creating your first digital product. Free masterclass. I've built 6 digital products, etc. I've made money. And you can get a free masterclass on how to create your own digital products. And people can fill in their email address, and then they will get that free masterclass sent to them. Let me just go back to this page. And that's up the top there. And so what happens, there's a lot of big obsession about subscribers on Substack, and it's really important. But what I found that people do want to subscribe to you if you're really good. But if you give them something free, they're more likely to subscribe to you. So I have these at the top of my homepage. And then sometimes when I'm writing a post at the end, I might say subscribe to the Irresistible Writer, and this is how to help you. But sometimes I'll put one of my free products, free courses at the bottom. I might put my Notes Playbook if you want to grow on Substack, or I might put my Digital Products Masterclass if you want to know how to create your own product and make money. I'll kind of rotate around them, and that will draw in more people signing up. I get about 300-400 subscribers a month through these 3 ways, and they're focused around the 3 things I write about: writing, growing your audience, and making money online. And so first off, this just gives me an extra number of subscribers just gently flowing in by pattern at the top. And then occasionally I just mix up in my posts. Rather than subscribing to my Substack, I might add those in. And if you've got questions, I can't actually see the chat at the moment, but when I stop sharing my screen in a minute, I'll jump into the chat and I'll see if there's any questions. And all this is getting run through Kit. This is the key thing. Those that make money, serious money on Substack, don't rely on Substack as their main vehicle. Substack just builds their audience. They have a back-end money machine, all right, which is those 3 things for me. And I'm going to show you how that turns into money in a minute. So let me stop sharing because I want to ask you a question in the chat. Oh, hang on. Right, we're still here. I tried to stop sharing and suddenly it said, do you want to end the live stream? And I was like, no, I think there might still be people here. So I want you to think about it because I've got a question for you in a minute. When people sign up for one of those 3 free courses for mine, then that tells me something. All right. And they don't just get the course, because then I'm going to, through email, offer them one of our products that is very focused. All right. So someone who signs up, this is where I've got questions. So if you're still awake, I want you to stick some answers in the chat, because whichever of those free products people sign up for, that tells me something really, really important. If I want to make money, I've learned something really, really important. So here's the question. Someone who signs up for one of them, what does it tell me about them? So we're going to pick one particular, and I want you to put in the chat what it tells us about them. So the person who signs up for the Substack Notes Playbook, so this is 14 templates to help them write Substack notes that might get more attention, more comments. What do you think that tells us about that person? Stick it in the chat. Someone signs up for the Substack Notes free email course, and they're going to get 14 so they can write notes based upon my notes that have done really well, that have grown the most. What does that tell us about that person? All right. As a someone who wants to sell products, what do I know about the person who has signed up for that? A new person. One of the things when you think they might be quite new on Substack, they might be wanting to grow on Substack particularly. And so if I'm wanting to sell something to them and make money to them, what sort of things should I tells them what they're most interested in? And so I've got a range of products. And so once they've signed up for that, then they get offered something else. And it varies a little bit. One of the things that I offer them would be a paid subscription. I would try and persuade them to sign up a paid subscription to Substack because they want to grow on Substack. So I'll say, you'd like these templates, I can give you a new tool every week that will help you grow on Substack. And it's suited to them. Not all my audience are on Substack, but I know that they are. Or I offer them my Substack complete toolkit, which has templates not just for notes, but also for posts, for ideas, for editing, all that sort of stuff. And so what happens if you sign up for my Substack Notes Playbook is you'll get that, but then you'll get emails followed up that are particularly targeted at somebody with that interest. And it's all set up and it's all automated, and I don't do anything about it. It's just kind of, I could just make money at any point. Or take my digital product masterclass. So this gives you 3 secrets for creating your first digital product. What does that tell me about the person who signed up for that? What do I know about them? What can I guess about that person? Stick it in the chat if you have got any ideas. Someone signed up for a free masterclass, and it's 3 secrets to creating your first digital product. What does that tell me about that person? What sort of things could I try and sell that person? What can I offer them that would be exactly what they need? Probably, I would guess that if someone signed up for how to create your first digital product, they're on here to make money. All right. So not everyone on Substack wants to make money. But if someone's looking at creating the first digital product, then actually they are interested in making money and they're interested in making a digital product. So I have a number of products courses that help people make money, help people create products. And so I can offer them one of them just to kind of tease out how different it is. Someone who signs up for long form mastery, which is my 5-step writing system, that doesn't tell me they're interested in making money. So I don't offer them my money making courses. It tells me they want to write better. They want to improve their ability to write online and maybe get people to read their stuff. And so what they would get offered would be a product or a course that is focused more on that. So when you have a free thing called a lead magnet in the marketing business world, first thing it does is it gets them onto my list more than just a free thing. But once they're on the list, it tells me something about them, so I can create something that's really targeted and suitable for them. And what happens through Kit is they land on it and they will get a whole series of emails, maybe 4 or 5 emails explaining the offer, explaining how it's the next step on from the free thing that they has consumed. Now, if I just sent that to my 7,000 Substack subscribers, they would all hate me, because it's like, why are you sending us this? This makes no sense. You've just sent me 5 emails in a row trying to sell this. Whereas when it's somebody who's just signed up for a free thing, it's a natural follow on, and I position it as a way to help them. I hope that kind of makes sense. And you set all that up in Kit and it just happens automatically. It's just like this in this back end, this just very simple system that people get emails that are really suitable to them. Because I don't know about you, I feel really uncomfortable with people who just kind of spam lots of random emails. And I rather write stuff that's curated to meet the particular people who are on the other end. So they get something that's relevant and something that is most accessible for them. And it happens kind of automatically without any thinking. So this idea of using Kit rather than just relying on paid subs, where you just got your please subscribe, please upgrade, offers me two things. First, I get more subscribers, 300-400 a month, because not everyone wants to subscribe to a newsletter. But when you offer something free that's targeted, helpful, and useful, then they might sign up and I get a bigger flow. And then if I'm on LinkedIn or Medium or my Instagram, wherever, I just share it kind of anywhere. So that's the first advantage of using Kit and not just relying on Substack. The second advantage is once they've signed up for something free, I know more about them. And that means I can set up 5 emails or 4 in Kit that will just go to only the people who have signed up. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Now, stick in the chat if you've got any questions, because I'm just kind of giving you the tease here and giving you a deeper understanding about how it works in the back end for the bigger creators, for the people who are making serious money for this. They're not making money that much from their paid subscriptions. It's these sort of tools and ways of thinking is really where the big money is made. And you may be quite small at the moment. You may only have a few subscribers and not get kind of massive, but at least you know where you want to be heading rather than you head down the rabbit hole of only relying on paid subs. And you're like, how come I'm not making like 50K like this other person? How I'm not making 10K a month like this other person? It's because you're not following the tactics that they're using behind the scenes. Okay, there's one more secret that's kind of going on. And this is where I got $400 this week from one single reader, which obviously dwarfs, what I get from paid subscribers. And here's how things really work. So when I started my first digital product, Ultimate Headline Toolkit, it had, how many was it? It was like 580 subscribers. That's all I had, 580 subscribers. But I made $1,700 in the first week from selling that product. That is for me then, I mean, even now, but then that was crazy amount of money. And here is the thing. All right. The people who bought that got 7 emails off me about it. Let me say that again. The people who bought that got 7 emails off me about it. All right. My experience is if you try and send one email to people, you mention your paid subs in your Substack, you occasionally send a DM or put it on Substack notes, etc., you will make hardly any sales. So if you create a digital product and it's on Gumroad and you're struggling to make sales, that's because you're not sending enough emails to people about it. People need a lot of emails to be persuaded. I mean, I had a cohort starting on Monday and I sent for that one probably like 9 emails maybe about it. Okay, 9 emails. And you think you're sending too much and you think after the 9th, no one's really interested. But during the cohort starting, someone bought, and 24 hours later after it started, somebody bought. And so you think that actually you've sent too much, but actually there's still people who want to buy after you've sent it. So in the early days, I used to send like 5 emails maybe, and then I'd send another 2. And rather than people getting fed up, actually more people would buy. My sales emails that are very focused, and I'll tell you in a minute how I focus them, they have my highest open rate and my highest click rate. All right. So my open rate on them might be 60, 70%. Right. On Substack, a lot of people's open rate are 20, 30%. But when my sales emails are targeted, the open rate might be about 70%. And then the click rate, which means people see the email and click in it, typically for people that could be 1, 2, 5%. On those targeted emails, it'll be between 20 and 40%. Now, I don't want to dazzle you with numbers, but what that means is those people are opening those emails and want to open those emails, and they want to click on the information and they're interested in what I've got to provide. So how do I get them to the right people? Because they don't go to everyone. I don't send those sales emails. I've got 12,000 in Kit subscribers. Yes, Melanie is crazy, isn't it? Melanie saying that people are still buying the course, buying the recordings. Fantastic. Because people are slow buyers, right? You think you're harassing people, but actually people take a long time. People are hesitant, they're not sure. And even when they think, yeah, I am going to get this thing, they're thinking, well, should I do it now? Or that's why, like in shops and online, people are always adding urgency and a discount, and this is the deadline. Because they're not, even when people have decided to do something, there's still a pause. They're just like, oh, there's still a thing. And so this is why if you're on Substack and you've got a mention in the bottom of your sale of your normal post, hey, buy this ebook, or hey, buy this, or hey, if you want, buy this, that like that's never gonna cut it. But what you don't want to do is what a friend of mine ended up doing, and she set up this 7 sales email. She sent it to a whole list, and they all started messaging back, getting angry of like, why are you harassing me about this product? Because they weren't interested. So here is the real key. On something like Kit and other newsletter platforms do this. Substack doesn't, and I don't think it ever will. But what they do is they know when someone has clicked a link. All right. And so if I send out to my whole list saying, hey, I'm creating a new masterclass about AI and how I use AI, right? Half my list won't be interested in that. They don't want to use AI. They're not interested, or they're not interested in buying anything because they're not here to make money. But maybe a few hundred might click on the link because they're interested. Now, who do you think I send the next 8 emails to? Am I going to send my next 8 sales emails to my 12,000 subscribers, most who are not interested? Or do I send 8 sales emails to the 200 who clicked but haven't yet bought? Now, you're bright people, so you don't even know. Put it in the chat. I know that you know the answer to that. I send it to the people who are interested. Now, you can say, or sign up if you're interested, but nobody does that. So what I do is if people have clicked, then I take that as interested. So that's why if you're on my Kit email list and you click on something and say, oh, I'm interested in this, and then you start getting lots more emails about it, and like, why am I getting all these? It's because you've shown interest. And so what that means is I can be a lot more confident in sending 7, 8 emails to people. And I can tell from the open rates and the click rates if people are interested or not. All right. And I can check if I've not got it right. So see people sign up for Substack Notes Playbook, and they're getting all my Substack notes. And then I send a few emails about something else. And if people are not opening it or they're not clicking on it, then I'll know I've missed the mark, and that's not what they're really interested in. So I can kind of check that. But having seen people open it and click on it, that gives me the confidence that actually I need to send a lot of emails to those people. I need to send 7, need to send 8. And when you do that, then people will start to buy. And they won't just buy one product. So the person who bought $400 worth of products from me, they bought 3 different products and 1 coaching session. They basically said, I want everything. Yeah. But only after getting 7, 8 emails, which explained what it was for, answered the questions, talked about the strengths, talked about the credibility, talked about who else it helps. There's kind of a lot of information you need to cover to help somebody get over the line, more than just, hey, upgrade if you want more Substack articles off me. It's like, who's going to go for that? Not very much, to be honest. And even though my Substack paid subscriptions is the cheapest thing I offer, $45 for 12 months, where you get like 52 tools. I mean, that's a crazy offer. 1 tool every week that you can just use on a Monday, plug and play, to be more effective on Substack and to grow, etc. Even though that's the best thing, the cheapest thing I offer, that's really great value, it doesn't sell as well as my other stuff because I can't send 7 or 8 emails to people who've shown interest in it. I can't even create a sales page very easily. All right. But you can in Kit or you can in Thrivecart to give people a full sense of what they're going to create. And so I don't know, does that sound complicated for people? I don't want to make it complicated, but the simplicity of Substack and the paid subscription model, and I understand why we're attracted to that. And it's a nice side hustle to your side hustle. If you're making money online as a side hustle, then paid subscriptions is like a side to that. You know what I mean? Then that is absolutely fine. But if you're wanting to make serious money, like thousands, then it's not going to be enough. And thinking now about how you're going to build that, and you're going down a route where you're going to make serious money. Remember, I only had like 500 subscribers when I made my first product for 1,700. So you don't have to get that big before you do this. But as a bonus, you can create your free products, which then you can put at the top. And the interesting thing about free is you can put it up for free, but it doesn't necessarily mean people will always want it, right? So you can even test your product ideas by doing a micro version of it as a free product. And then you see what the interest is. Because if nobody even wants it for free, then you don't want to waste time creating the full version. And in the meantime, you gain loads of extra subscribers in the meantime. So I've got a whole masterclass where I talk about how to create free products, lead magnets. DM me if you want the link to that. You have to buy that, but send me a DM if you want the link. Or if you've got any questions about Kit, then please email me, message me, DM me, or email me. I'm happy to answer that. Or if anyone's got any questions now, just stick it in the chat, and I'd be happy to help, really, and give you anything that I know, really. I mean, the other thing to be aware of is like Substack takes a lot of your money, so I've made 10,000 from my paid subs, but like 10% of that goes to Substack. So that's like $1,000 I'm paying them, which is a lot of money. It's a lot more. It's probably one of my most expensive tools now when you kind of add that in, which when you're small, you're not really bothered about. But actually, when you get big, it really starts to heat in. And so thinking about other ways can be a really helpful thing to do. Right, we haven't got any questions, which either means it was so clear and I said everything that was just like so easy to understand, or it means everybody's left, or it means it was so complicated people don't even know where to start. But whichever three of it was, I hope it was useful. And as ever, if you've got questions, send me a DM and I'm happy to help. And if you want any of those free things, then just sign up for them. You can take them and use them, and I hope that they're really helpful. And if you go on to buy my other stuff and get more help, that's actually great. If you don't and they just help you, then that makes me a happy guy as well. But I am on holiday for the next 2 weeks. I'm interrailing around Europe, so I won't be doing any lives, but I am trying to do these every week. And so send me a message if you've got any ideas for lives and what I might cover. And Vicky's asking a question about Kit. Actually, I found Kit like super easy to use. It's got lots of features, and the way I've worked is I've learned one feature at a time, and then another feature or another feature. When you do start, you feel like you got this Ferrari. It's got so much power, and you're only in first gear. But you just learn one section, one strategy, one tool at a time. I just started with a free email course. That was the first thing that I did on it. And it's just so intuitive, and they have a great chat function. So you just chat to people if you've got any questions. And I found that the staff there is super helpful. Probably the best help desk I've ever experienced, to be honest. But any specific questions, send me a DM. I would be happy to help Vicky or anyone else. But otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I will see you in a few weeks after I've gone interrailing around Europe. And maybe I'll tell you some stories about my travel. But have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you soon.